Inga en Kawango got kendo anema an founder mar KISIHOMI matiende ni Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori. Etwak makawuono wadwa lose gidwaro telo KISIHOMI kati nyalo yude na. So when you talk about leadership, kapo ni dwaro telo, sani pok wayiero jotelo, to kapo ni dwaro telo kata nitie ng'ama iparo no owinjre gi telo, saa zingine sio wewe, but ineno ni ng'ane to owinjre gi telo nikech onyalo kelo dongruok. Waseneno timbene. One gi gimiluongo ni Central Coordinating Committee, that is where I sit, and also a few others, where that we are starting all this up. But our hope is that we are going to have leadership at the county, at the sub-county, at the ward, at the location, at sub-location, up to the village. Leadership. So that development cascades down to the village level. It's not me kawango kama antieni. Kore kadengio, ni jomoda kajigo, chiro, but chira jigo. How are they developing? Adwaro ni jomo around a jigo, who are members, oversee the development in a jigo because they are closest to a jigo. And so that is how the development will be. And then we are going to have also leadership in the diaspora, because diaspora is an important component of us as a community, as it is in other communities. And therefore, we don't want to leave the diaspora behind. And so we are going to ask the diasporians to also, once they join, to look for leadership that brings people together and that are development minded. And so we have 6 leadership levels. I've talked about them: the county, sub-county, ward, location, sub-location, and village. So those are 6 levels. And at each level, once we grow up to where we want to be, each of those levels will have leadership. And the leadership will have the chairperson, assistant chairperson, secretary, assistant secretary, and treasurer. So we have 5 positions at all those levels. So that it means that if you are in a county, you will have leadership at the county level, and then each sub-county will have their own leadership, and in every sub-county, each ward will have their own leadership, and at every ward, each location, every location, each sub-location, and every sub-location, each village. So we are, what do I mean, leaders stand aware. But it is not too many cooks spoil the broth. The key thing is these leaders will be up to the ground level, so that it is not Kawango at the regional level or somebody else at the county level, emangio growth at that local level. Okay? And so, conditions for eligibility kapo ni dwaro Bedo Jatelo, kati neno ng'ami neno ko romo gi kom. And please, romo gi kom is service. Leadership here is leadership of service, not leadership where you think what is in it for me, or you think nini tie gimoro mabro yude, or you think nadwa ni mondo ang'era. No, you don't get leadership because you want to serve the Luo community, because you really truly believe that we need to bring development at a higher speed than we are seeing. So the first is that it is voluntary. So leadership is voluntary, and that is where we drop out always 99%. People are always saying, oh, I want to be a leader, I want to be a leader, I want to be a leader. When you tell them it's voluntary, 99%, pwa, ose dogetiendara. Ni anga gimok chula okanyalti, gimok chula okabetemo. In one of my podcasts, Matimo Chien Kanyo, I'm running 4 organizations kiwe KISIHOMI. Only one is paying me a salary, and that is Impact. There are others I'm running without a salary, and only my one, which is my school, there I'm getting an allowance. But everything else I'm doing free of charge. KISIHOMI Wachako follow up. We've spent so much money. By the way, we've spent close to 3M, and I've had to borrow this from everywhere to be able to set KISIHOMI up and running. And so none of us has earned a cent, because there's no cent to earn. We just started asking people to pay, and we don't. As for me, the others may be later, Kagitimo something active, may get stipend. But as for me, I'm not interested in the salary. I'm not interested in allowance. I'm not interested in nothing from KISIHOMI. I'm interested in nenoni ere kaka wanyalo riure kanyakla mondo jowa odongi. Of course, kachima wangi pesa tadwa visit a program in Rongo. I can ask them to get for me a taxi at my age, or kanyal digi piki piki. But I am not getting into this to get money. And so listen to the podcast where I talked about who Kawango is, and you'll know what I mean. So leadership position in KISIHOMI is a service to the Luo nation, and therefore it is voluntary. And to elect leaders, the counties must have county. For you to elect a leader, you must have registered 1,000 members. So that you don't elect yero ji apar, kata yero ji pirare, kata pirangwen, kata mia chia to elect leader. The reason for this is that it shows that as a county you are interested, but also importantly, ungi sufficient numbers to select from. Okni uno yero because you happen to be the first 4 people that were registered, and therefore use pogre uchale jomani changu. Use pogre ni ana ka Obama, ama ka ngute, ana ka ogine. No. What we only want to build sufficient members, makoro you can elect your leader, nikech unga choice. And so that's why we are saying as a county, we would want the counties will be eligible to elect leaders once they have hit 1,000 registered members. Sub-counties will have hit 500 registered members. Wards will have hit 300 registered members. Locations will have hit 200 registered members. Sub-location, 100 registered members. And villages, 50 registered members. So that is how we want the leadership to be, so that you are not a leader of 10 people, and yet you are sub-county, otingo, let's say 100,000, and then 10 people say yeri. We want it to be a legitimate election. And then leaders for these positions, the chair, the secretary, chair and assistant secretary, assistant and treasurer will be elected by members of their county. We are not going to be as overall central coordinating committee tell you who your leader is going to be. No, we want you to elect your own leaders yourselves, so that ku yero onge jadongruok to koro mano wachu ucham nyanju to ku yero madongruok minded to bro neno kusudo. Wan gi mwangeyo ni every year we are going to have a competition, county competition, and we are hoping by the time we have county inter-county competition, each county will have also had inter-sub-county, and each sub-county will have had inter-ward, and so on, so that you get the best of the best. So that's what we are thinking about. So kuyero leaders as a county, sub-county, ward, and so on, leaders are limping, then your projects will be limping. We hear leaders cannot produce or are thinking are selfish. What is the need for me? One thing that they should know, ni we can go logi katajo, wabunyalo golo leaders at central level, kato yeru gijo gwengu, kwa yodo ni there is fraud, wa yodo ni nitie kuomar pesa, wa yodo ni nitie adiera miriambo manikanyo, wa yodo ni projects work sode. We are going to ask your people to you step aside. Make sure that you have leaders, maog bisol wetigi eondong. We want to make sure that you have leaders. And kadisol wetigi eondong, to kata uyergi to progologi, because we want the name of KISIHOMI to remain a clean name. And then once the leaders are elected, for us to know you are getting into leadership because it was serve the Luo nation and not because of a personal thing, midwaro recognition, or you think there is money, your registration is going to be much higher than the regular member. That is another place where we drop people. It's voluntary, your registration is higher. By the way, people that we have already at the central leadership have paid a much higher registration, and I'll tell you how much it is. And so this registration, one give 4 levels. Only level 1, kata tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. Tier 1 is what is important to majority of us, almost 99%. This is where you pay 50 shillings per month. You can pay for multiple months. It doesn't have to be 50-50. Every 2 months or 3 months or 1 year or 6 months. Chaguo ni lako. So 50 shillings a month is what applies to all of us, and is open to anybody who wants to join, and not those who want to go to the marketplace. Marketplace, kidwa also your services, or idwa also your goods to ine tier 2 and tier 3. So tier 1 is for everybody 50 shillings a month. Tier 2 and tier 3 and kakoro idwa also gigi idwa ni display near marketplace and send traffic to your business. And then tier 4 is now for leaders. Leaders, you are in tier 4. Tier 4 in the sense that if you are at the central coordinating committee, like me, and I think right now 4 others or 5 others, we are paying 10,000 per year. And the reason we are paying 10,000 per year is to show our commitment and our sacrifice to the Luo nation. And to show that we are not in it to get money, we are in it to contribute and to selflessly support the Luo nation. If you are vying for a county coordination committee, either as a chair, assistant, secretary, assistant, or treasurer, you're going to pay 7,500 per year. And ko yeri to jogo ngeni enyewe in gi chunyi no to yonge gi uwezo, jogo bro contribute. But it is a show to us that truly you can sacrifice to the Luo nation. Because again, in the you must say you are every 50 bob. You are the ceiling pira beach. Ngato nyalo argue kodi nyaka ne pinyi room ching podi. Ceiling pira beach. Onyalo woro kakidwa kwalo ceiling pira beach. Un maeri is a scheme. Kia pyramid scheme. Ngato no lungu wago nangono cha. Luo thrift. Ngato cha no wacho nango. Yet people are looking at all the things that they have participated in that didn't work. And not also need 50 bob, the energy you are spending to argue about 50 bob is more than the value of the 50 bob. But for a member, for a leader, we want you to show your commitment to leadership by contributing way more than the people you're going to lead. That is when you're a leader. If you elect me as a leader, I'm not able to pay the amount that is required, then you who have elected me and trust in my leadership will support me to raise that money. So that is the point. If you want leadership at sub-county level, it's 5,000 per year. Leadership at ward, 4,000. At location, 3,000. Sub-location, 2,000. Village, 1,000. And we are calling, I'm paid up. I actually paid way back on the May 27th, to be precise. I paid 10,000 because I like leading by example. And so, this is what it means. So leadership in KISIHOMI siyo ile tamu. You know, people jilaro telo. Hingi wachita ni telo ilaro. Because there's a return. But here the return is to see the Luo nation develop. Here the satisfaction is to see Gwenu develop. Kind of lead at Gwen level. This is an opportunity to show your leadership at your ward level. And whatever level that you want to be a leader in, you are so passionate about seeing the sub-county now develop. And therefore, I want to be a leader to make sure that I drive things. And to be that, I am volunteering my work and I am registering with this amount that has been put up. And we are going to share this on our website. So leadership in KISIHOMI and leadership majio kubidoano. And leadership my volunteer and then leadership my you contribute, your membership is higher than the general population. And that means that the leaders that we hope that will come and pass this test will be a true leader. A leader that wants to see the community grow. Okay? And so, we are therefore inviting you, Nikidwaro leadership a county, to enroll your money a county ni. Kidwaro leadership a village, enroll your money a village ni. Encourage them to enroll. They are not going to regret, that I can assure you. Kidwaro leadership at the ward level. Reach out to people in your ward. And sometimes it's not because you want leadership, but you want your ward not to be left behind. You want your ward to be among the wards that are being showcased. Submitting every year, wa share results, wa share progress. You want your ward to be showcased. You want your sublocation to be showcased. You want your village to be showcased so that people can learn from you. That in itself is satisfaction more than what money can buy. The only problem is that we are so money-minded that we don't think that that is a bigger blessing than kanga toka usili elufachel to me. And so people have asked me, how will my 50 shillings be used? One thing that I'll tell you, for me as a person on Adwa nothing. I don't rely on the 50 shillings to survive or to eat. I want us to think about these 50 shillings this way.
that this is the 50 shillings that if I had my own 50 shillings kaka ngatachiel, gimonya loti monaonge. But if we were 10,000 and we had 50 shillings and put it together, it can do something. And so the 50 shillings, the first thing to know is that 60% of your 50 shillings that is drawn from Migori, from Kisumu, from Siaya, from Homa Bay will go back to that county. So that your development will be controlled at your county level, sub-county, and so on, by channeling back part of your contribution from your county back to your county, so that the leadership in your county will be able to handle that money with oversight from the central body. We shall give oversight, that I can assure you. But the 60% of your money will go back to your county, so that you don't say ni one Kisumu wagolo pesa to Siaya machamo. One Homa Bay wagolo pesa to Kisumu machamo. Apana. Pesa majo Siaya golo jo register, and registration you state your county and all these up to village level. So here we have all those who are registering, we have that information. And therefore we are assigning you to your county, and then within your county, once your leaders come on board, they'll assign you to your sub-location, to your location, and so on. And so as we assign people to their counties, your 60% of your contribution will go back to develop your counties directly. So who registered Jiangwen? To remember, it is 200 shillings. And 60% of 200 shillings is 120. 120 will go to your village. Ngato mose register 200, let's say ngato se register 20,000. It means that they have almost 100,000. 100,000 magin goni. The majority will go, 60% will go to their county. So this is telling you that please ask people in your county to register. Mutaona matunda. So 40% will be used for the following administration. The first, startup cost. We already had introduced KISIHOMI to the governors in all the 4 counties. They sent us representatives. For Homa Bay we went. We have introduced the KISIHOMI to the county commissioners in all the 4 counties. We have introduced KISIHOMI to the sub-county, not sub-county, they're called deputy county commissioners in all the sub-counties in the 4 regions. So we have gone around. And of course, when you go around, you know them, unajua tu, you have to sign the form. And that takes money. We have launched KISIHOMI on the 5th of last month. We have developed our website. We developed the logo. We have opened, gotten poster, gotten phones that we are going to use, and this. We have used quite a bit of money. All of us that have been working on this have been paid nothing except one student that got a small stipend to be able to have lunch. One of us who is a student. None of us has got even airtime, 0, 0, 0. And so this is not to pay us. So to pay for the startup cost, to do administrative costs. Right now, I'm having a team that's helping me in terms of taking a video of what I'm saying. But we are going to send them to other places to pick success stories so that we can share success stories with the others, so that you see what the others are doing, to give you encouragement. That is going to cost money. And so admin cost is going to be providing oversight of activities more team, so that we make sure they are doing well. We are going to pay monthly utilities, water, electricity. Right now, ngato me office kamorwa guomie. But not me office up to the end of 2024. After that, we need to have our own office, because I think we shall have developed. Makoro wa uo kada edala wadigero simba or wadigodala. So that means that we are going to pay rent, we are going to pay water, we are going to pay electricity, we are going to pay security, and so on. And we are going to also pay statutory commitments. Wachulo, the things that the government requires, so that we are on a clean plate. Sani geningi wagitu rubim. Magi mora mo de maraj, toge wacho suru masani emani everywhere. What do I make sure ni ongigi mwati mo manyalo keto nikech bedo nwa kere and bedo ni development work there as fast as we want. And that is the I would call it the what? That is the more marjo moko. Let me put it that way. Morgi en wakere. Morgi okwanyal bed kanyakla mondo watim gigwa. Morgi en wanyiepo kuomgi. Morgi en watimo nigi. They are benefiting and gaining from us. And so, we need to make sure ni kwa chako gimapro develop. We are going to challenge them. Challenge them indirectly, not directly, but the actions we are going to take will challenge the status quo. Kamagintie. And so they're not going to be happy. So Gibro Chako Jogi been registered, to Jogi been chulo suru, to Jogi been kiatimano. We want to make sure that we are clean, and therefore part of that money will make sure that we are paying all the statutory commitments that are required. That 50 shillings, 40% of it, Wabro train go members of development interest, the virtual training, for the most part, because you can be everywhere. Wabro offer virtual training, and where people don't have access to the internet, we will call in-person training for their leaders, and their leaders then can go back and train them. So like training of trainers. The 40% of the 50 shillings, Bureau support organizational capacity assessment, and where gaps are identified, how to build the capacity of those CBOs so that they can have good governance, they can have be competitive, so that they can also benefit from what other Kenyan groups are benefiting from, because one, we are always excluded, not registered, no bank account, leadership wrong, sijui what. We want to make sure that we have all that and it's done well in our groups. The 40% Mabrodong bro support training on job and scholarship search. We are going to search for scholarship and place them up. That requires human resource. Ngato bro bet mabro Google nation angoma no work, standard angoma no work, kiangona angoma no work, US looking for that, Australia, wherever, and bringing it all together and putting on our website. Somebody has to be employed to be able to do that, and that is where the 40% of Pesama Igolo bro there. 40% bro there also on supporting Youth Innovation Fund. Chinkanya wachi nwadwa bedo gi Youth Innovation Fund, where youth manigi innovative ideas will be encouraged to build their ideas, and they are going to get sometimes funding from their counties, but if their counties don't have enough, they'll get funding from the central. If not, then we are going to look for funders. And 40% of your 50 shillings will also support asset mapping. Remember, watching every village, Majio register Ajia Beach. Then we are going to work with those 5 people to establish what is the baseline kapo KISIHOMI chako. Mondokasi KISIHOMI chako teach. To wangeo this is as a result of KISIHOMI's work, and we can report that and link it back to us. What is called attribution. We attribute it to KISIHOMI. And I want to tell you something, that once we do that, then the world will come to learn from us. That I can tell you free of charge. The world will come to learn from us as long as we can attribute the success of the rural development projects to KISIHOMI. And we did not use their money. The World Bank did not give us the money. Sijui whoever did not give us the money. We used our own 50 bob. Siling pra beach, wachoko kanyachia. To watiogo, I want to tell you that if you do this thing well, and trust me, I'm over 60 years old, I've worked with many funding institutions, including the World Bank. I've not worked with them, but they have funded me for something that I've done in the past. And therefore I know how they operate. Wameshindwa on how to improve development by not getting donor funding. Why don't we as Juluo, Mose Chawa Egwengwaka, mondo wa showcase to the world, by the way, we can do it our own. With our little money, we put it together, we form a group. So we can demonstrate. We want the World Bank to come and learn from us. We want the other big development, Africa Development Bank to come and learn from us. Where we use our own resources, we use our own passion for seeing Joluo develop to actually reach where we want to do. We want the world to come and learn from us. And they will learn if you can join, we work together. Because one thing I will not do, I know I can do it, and I've done it a million times before, and I will not do, I am not going to look for donor funds. Mundakilgo development, I will not look for donor funds. Joluo nigi pesa 50 bob wanyalo wagol 50 bob mondo watigo. So finally, I want to just say that if you are an elected leader, he said mobilize people in your county, sub-county, and so on, more enroll. What do I need? Give leaders, makata wherever they are working. Katitiyo Mombasa, Katitiyo wherever. But you have your presence on the ground. It can be virtual presence, but you have your presence on the ground to see that Kamilidno is going on. And as we have said, it's going to be compared. Counties will be competing, sub-counties within a county, wards, and so on. The elected chairpersons of each county, and if you are a chair of the sub-county, then you are automatically a member of the county coordinating committee, and it goes down like that. And the whole idea is that we want to make sure that the issues that are raised at the village level don't get lost somewhere along the line na hazifiki huko juu. We want to make sure that the issues and the needs that are expressed at the village level will find their way to the central coordinating committee through that kind of system. And then make sure that your county wins in the friendlies, both in terms of progress, development progress, but also we are going to give trophies for the different development indicators, but as well as low performances. Yande waheroga mai, waheroga football, wadwa nenareka, wadwa timora mogi, so that it's a fun day, but it's also a day that we learn best practices and we see how we have moved. And I think I would just end by asking that can we consider being members of KISIHOMI? For us to move, let's move from talking as Joluo wahero loso, waloso mangeny. Walos mangeny, it is not bad, it is good, but let's also be generous. Because we are not generous, to be honest. Mani ngina nyalo wachapanda. Okwan generous. Ngato would rather nyoni kongo than wachoni wadonje gine 50 bob. Ngato would rather nyiteri miel than wachoni ya pesa manu wadege miel ni anyia goni nyathini kata uoche midwari school mano riebeni. So let us join KISIHOMI by paying 50 shillings a month. That is all. Everybody, every household, okapani siling prabichi ditami edwe mangima. Mondo wariem melini at the speed mwadwaro towards the direction mawadwaro. I am hoping that now, with the background manachiwo in another podcast about who Kawango is, and with this session where we've talked about how the 50 shillings will be used. In fact, kakwano kitapano ngana nyalo wone siling prabich nyalo timo gik mekwano gitemano miriambo. Okonyal timo ka in ngata chiel ji ariyo ji apar. To ka usechopo 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, it can. It can actually build a fish processing plant for this region. It can build a milk processing plant in a sub-county. So it can, when we come together. So I go to Manaero Kamano, Gimado wacho ni let's register if you truly and genuinely wish to be part of Wager Reke and Wakaka Joluo, wish to see that Joluo Odongo, then please join Joluo Moko, join us by contributing 50 bob, mondo waran go our business. Ibro mi kaka nyalo chiwo pesa no kaka nyalo donjo. Kise donjo, wabro tudre kodi mondo wadhi mbele. Erokamano.